Welcome back to Compton Shenanigans. Caught me out in the garage. Today we're going to work on the black cart. We're going to fix the brakes, fabricate a new piece, weld it on, go through the pre-season maintenance, and well, it should be a good show. Make it work! Sure. Put it in here. It's just wrapped it. Okay, to start out, this is the black go-kart. I already removed the engine. It's sitting over there for now. And we're going to wheel this thing outside so that we can grind that little buddy off right there. That. We'll remove this, get it out of our way, and remove the tire. Probably just the tire, and we'll get that. Well, it's looking like we're gonna have to remove the axle too, so we'll get started on that. Boy, that brake rod was a struggle. I didn't really want to pop this off. I didn't want to damage it. It looks like it'll go back on fine. It just slip fits on there nice and tight. And I tried taking the pedal off. Oh, but that bolt, yeah, it ain't going nowhere. Not without stripping it out. So we'll just kind of leave it be for now. But now that I got that off, I can wheel this outside. Taking the axle off wasn't going to happen. There's that. That bar under there, it's not gonna let me right there, not gonna let me pull that axle out this way. So sliding it down and getting it mostly out of the way is gonna be the best bet I got. Well, time to get the grinder and get that nub off. Alright, got it cut off. Still a line there where I grounded it. That'll tell me where to put the next one. I got a place to ground the welder. Hot. That's a piece that came off. I'll use that to help with the fabrication. See you guys in the garage in just a couple minutes. Alright, so the piece that broke off is here. You can see it was welded a couple times. And we're going to assume that's a 90-degree angle. And the bar we're going to fabricate this one here. So we're going to start out by checking out the piece that broke off first. We have like a rounded ground edge. We have a hole of a specific diameter. And then we have an overall length of the rod itself, and then a spot at which it bends. So we're going to take some measurements and then transfer those over to this rod, and I'm going to hook up some stuff, and then we're going to get started. Yeah, so my my little piece on the tripod that holds the camera broke off. So you took a dive. Sorry about that. Alright, here's what we got so far. Measuring it out, we got about 2 inches a bend and then about 2 inches. And that's the original pieces. So on here I marked out 2 inches line, room for the bend, 2 more inches line. So I gave myself about a ½ inch for the bend, which is probably, the bend is probably going to be just a little over the thickness of, which is about 3/8. So it's close enough to a half. If it's a little over, it should still work. Whatever side is shorter has got to go on the cart. So now we got to mark down where to drill the hole. And to do that, I'm going to use a different mount. Hold on a minute while I figure that out. looking for the charger for the grinder in case I run out of juice. I can't find the charger for it. It's been a while since I used it. Anyway, onto this. The reason why I left this full length is because I have to bend it. I want that leverage. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the vise, apply a little bit of heat to it, and then get this thing bent so I get it cut off. Here we go. Boy, that took forever. But it finally started bending. I'm sure it got hot enough. And it didn't get red hot, but it got hot enough to bend it. Now we're sitting there at about a 90-degree angle. And the measurements are a little off. That just means we'll cut just this side off a little bit longer. About an inch past the hole. There. Don't want to touch it. Still pretty hot. So we'll get that, let that cool down all the way. We don't want to quench it because I think it's like a high carbon steel. So if we quench it, we're liable to make it snap, make a weak point. So we'll just let it cool down naturally, and we might put it out in the sun, let it cool down slower and slower and slower. The slower it cools down, the stronger the steel will maintain in that bend, and that's what we want. So, all right, to give you guys a little bit of an update, what we got going on. So I made the piece, I fitted it, decided it might be a good idea to slide the axle on to see if it, see how it worked, So I decided to weld it across ways. That way it's welded all the way out and it's not stressing this way or this way on the weld. It's doing this to the weld, and that should hold better. Plus I can put some weld on this end where it pushes and it won't be able to go past it. The brakes, you can see this tab. This is for a clutch. See, the clutch goes in there and it rides the clutch. The drums on my cart, no space between the drum and the gear. So I had to grind one of these off. And I knew 1.5 amp hour battery on that grinder was only going to last so long. And I thought, well, I used it yesterday to cut off them tabs on the blue cart. Only really thing I need it for is to kind of knock some stuff off for welding and cut that pipe to length one time. I was like, I got enough of it. Yeah, she died on me. So while I spent 2 hours looking for the charger, I finally got the charger and it's charging. I found it in a bag near where I had last charged batteries. So somehow it got bagged up and put away, and I probably not the one that did it. So anyway, did a dry fit, and this piece, the way this works, is where that hole is. So you put this in here, and that hole sits in the middle to lock the band in. So the other piece I made was too long, like way too long. So I got to cut it shorter and drill a new hole. It's not a big deal. But in order to cut it shorter, I need that battery to charge. To drill a new hole, I can do that. And then right before I start welding it, I will check back in with you guys, and I'll show you how it looks dry fit before I start welding. So hey, back again. While that was charging, I decided to do the maintenance on the cart. The only thing to do is grease the back axles, both bearings, kind of grease the steering up a little bit, and check the tire pressure. That's really all there is to it. So I didn't take you with me. And I had to pull the front tires off to check those. One of them, this one, is a plastic rim. It has a like a nylon insert instead of a bearing. And I got to tell you, I am a huge fan of these tires, especially on a yard cart. These have been on the cart for about 3 seasons, 4 seasons. Last year it didn't go anywhere because the thing broke off the brake, but 4 seasons, and no wear, none. Keep them greased up. Grease the shaft that they're on. Stick it on there, tighten it up, treat it just like anything else. I don't even use washers on it. And you can see that the front doesn't even have any wear where the bolt goes, because the bolt is bigger than that spot. I wiped that off, by the way. So yeah, no wear on them at all. I found them for like a deal. I think they were like $1 a piece. I bought 2 of them, figured I'd try them out for a couple years, and if they were good, I was going to buy a bunch more and put them on the front of all the carts, because, I mean, bearings cost money. These are $1 a piece. So now I got to go back to that place. I got to go back anyway, get stuff for those engines. So if I see these there, yeah, I'm going to buy like 5, 6, 20, whatever. And yeah, these are going to be on the front of all the carts. Love these things. This one, reason it's in the shop, it ran out of air. So moving it around the shop and things like that, the air thing slipped out of the hole and got in the tire. These weren't that hard to get off. A couple screwdrivers, a little bit of patience, peeled right off. Let some air out of the tube, slip it back in, put some air back in, and voila, we're done. Took like 10 minutes. Boy, that was a long one. Like, it's dark. It's like 10 o'clock at night. Let me show you what I got going on. Oh, so it's on there. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. I needed to figure out how that welder worked. And like, I didn't grind it or finish it or nothing. And it looks terrible. It looks absolutely terrible. But, you know, there was a couple beats. It's probably the worst weld I've ever done in my life. And I don't want to blame the welder. I don't. But, yeah. Brakes are on there and they work. And the thing's on there good. So we're ready to finish the setup. So we're going to throw that engine back on, in case you're hearing the, yeah, there's fireworks outside. Yeah, neighbors. So we're going to throw that motor back on it real quick. And, well, then we're going to fire it up. late, getting later and late, later and later and later and late. But I got her on, got her running, went ahead and ran the fuel out of it, warmed the chain up. I'm going to go ahead and oil it before bed, but it is set up and ready to ride. The only problem I've been having, and the reason why it's so late, is I can't seem to get them set screws tight enough for that to stay put. And until that problem's solved, it's not rideable. I know there's a specific size of Allen wrench in the house or out here. I didn't find it yesterday when I was cleaning the garage up, so chances are it's standard, not metric. So it's a little more than 2.5 on metric, but it's the standard size, whatever it is. Boy, I've been putting a lot of work into this thing today, as you can see. But we got the brakes fixed. We got this nice racing motor on there. Boy, it sounds mean. You probably saw it or heard it. There's this video coming out. Should be out already. Where I was running this thing, and yeah, it's going pretty good. It is. It's running like a beast. Kind of dies after something really, I think it floods, so I cut the flow down just a little. And we'll see what it does. As soon as I can keep that clutch from slipping off there. It turns out there ain't no threads in it, in the PTO, so I can't put a bolt on there to make sure it don't go nowhere, like can all the rest of them. Gotta feel bad. I don't think there's one. No, there's not one on the other Briggs either. The orange one. The orange one does not have a... It's not a thread. Not threaded. And this one isn't either. So. Alright. Well, I'm going to have to cut it off for the night. It is late. It's probably sometime around midnight. Or later. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. Anyways. Yeah, this thing's a beast. It's going to be fun to ride. I got to get everything tightened down and bolted down. I let it run. I let it run for a little bit. And it kind of centers itself because I don't snug everything super tight. And then once it's set, we're good. So I'll go ahead and snug everything up now. And I do have brakes. They're not perfect, but they're brakes. Yeah. Boy, this has been a long one. Oh, yeah. It's been a long one. So I know you're not watching this just to watch me talk. So I'm going to sign off here. Like, subscribe, share. Have a good one. Hopefully, probably going to throw an episode together with us running these around the yard. Do some time trials. Just have some fun with them. Share that with you guys. Probably coming up as soon as I can find the Allen head for that. Yep. Now, with that, thanks for watching. And I will see you all next time.